weeks of testimony, 34 witnesses to come forward. Sean Combs pleaded not guilty the entire time. He did not take the stand, in this case. The origins of this certainly go back to November of 2023 when Cassie Ventura sued him initially. When we talk about how did all of this get into motion, that's what took over there. Then remember there was the raid of his homes in LA and Los Angeles. That's when the 1,000 bottles of
Miami,
yes, was going on there. That happened. And then in November, in the fall of last year, is when the feds unveiled this damning indictment, and that's where we are now. Opening statements took place on May 12th. 7 weeks later, here's where we are. This is how quickly it turned around. And Rosanna Kurt, you also know that when you get those notes from the jury, literally everything just freezes right there because you're trying to figure out how is this going to go? What does this mean? It could be something as simple as are we allowed to work through lunch, or yes, in fact, we have in fact reached a decision, which is the case there. So as we're talking about the two guilty decisions that came in regards to this matter, you're certainly looking at that's the breakdown right there. Certainly the what's happening there, as you pointed out, they're trying to make a case as to whether he should be released or should he remain behind bars as a
now it seems like there were reports that the judge wants some time. What connotes his time? Is it the weekend? Do you take July 4th, let him stay in Brooklyn detention, right, for the weekend? Is that right when he's been basically acquitted of the most serious crimes?
But he has still been convicted of two crimes.
Yeah.
So it's not like he got free. Yeah. There's a big difference.
We've been taking questions also, on Fox Local, like, well, what's the maximum here, in regards to these two? And then we're talking about a minimum, transportation carried a maximum of 10, like there are two, charges of that, so we have to look at how that's going to be going. Concurrent or consecutive certainly plays into some of the conversations with as far as the judge's decision in that matter. But yeah, a lot of that, while you were up here, we were just moving around in the newsroom just trying to get a lot of parts, together, because we didn't know until 10 o'clock or so, that a decision, the jurors are sent a note.
We never thought it was going to be, we were kind of taking friendly guesses earlier, and I thought it would be before noon.
Yeah.
And you thought before the end of the day.
I thought before the end of the day, but I didn't think an hour after they started meeting. And it's one of these things that, I'm trying to follow it here on the phone. And there's so many people on.
We're both looking to see what information we can get.
One of the things that I'm seeing here, again, the defense is arguing he should be let go. The prosecution is saying he's been convicted of two serious charges that carry 10-year maximum sentence.
Exactly.
So he should be held. The judge said, give me some time to try to figure this out. One of the things the judge apparently said, though, was that I'm sure that Mr. Combs does not want to go back to the Brooklyn Detention Center.
Right.
And they left. A little levity. I think part of it is the release of tension.
Right.
But if the judge brings that up, it makes you go, maybe he's thinking on the spot. He says, give me some time to think. That may not mean go home and think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
The Mann Act is a very serious act, which, again, so to Kurt's point, it could very well just mean, let's just let it breathe, knowing all of the tension is in there. And you all know this is probably one of the more sensational trials that we've covered in recent memory.